Okay, so let's talk about that. You know the one. It's late at night, everything's quiet, and despite, well, everything looking good on the outside the job, the apartment, whatever, there's this little voice, right, that just whispers, this isn't really it, the life I It happens to so many people, but we don't really talk about it.
Right. And that silence makes you feel like you're the only one.
Exact. But here's what our sources are really saying, and it's quite liberating, actually, that feeling. It doesn't mean you're broken or, ungrateful.
Not at all.
It just means you might be chasing the wrong life. Not a bad life, maybe, but just not.
And that's exactly what we're jumping into today. We've gone through, a whole stack of research, stories, expert advice, all exploring why this feeling is so, common.
Right.
So our mission here is really to unpack why so many of us end up living someone else's idea of success. And more importantly, how to start recognizing those signals.
Yeah.
And maybe begin to steer back towards what feels authentic for you.
Think of it as a roadmap out of that, is this all there is feeling?
Yeah, exactly. A roadmap derived from people who've studied it and, crucially, people who've lived through it.
So we'll cover that initial emptiness, definitely. Then the sort of hidden costs of not being true to yourself and how this discomfort, this restlessness is actually a guide.
A guide, not a glitch.
Yes, love that. And then actual steps, practical things you can do to start reclaiming your own life. Because doing everything right can sometimes feel so incredibly wrong, can't it?
It absolutely can.
So let's set this. One source paints this really vivid picture. You're, say, 28, maybe 30. You did all the things, went to college, got the degree,
Check.
Landed the job that sounded impressive.
Double check.
You live in a decent place, drive an okay car, your Instagram looks pretty solid from the outside. You're hitting those milestones.
But then Sunday nights land differently, don't they? There's this kind of dread that starts creeping in.
Sunday's scary.
But it's deeper than just Monday morning.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, is this the whole trajectory? You scroll, you compare, you wonder, do they feel this way too? And what the research points to is this idea of climbing ladders we never actually chose.
Unchosen ladders. I like that.
Yeah. Ladders maybe our parents or society pointed us towards. So we take jobs that, look great on a resume, but just drain the life out.
Or move to a city because that's where opportunities are.
Right. Even if you secretly miss, quiet forests or the specific bakery in your hometown or dating people who tick all the supposed boxes.
The perfect on paper person.
Exactly. But inside, there's no spark. No real connection. And we tell ourselves, I'm being practical. This is the smart move. But we never really calculate the invisible cost of that practicality.
Okay, let's unpack that a bit. The unchosen ladder, because this is where the real deception lies, doesn't it? The sources say you can have everything you thought you wanted.
The title, the salary, the partner.
All of it. And still feel just empty. Because if you're living someone else's blueprint, even when you win, it kind of feels like losing. It's such a strange thing.
It is. We get so good at pretending, even to ourselves, that this is what happy looks like, that we actually sort of forget what real fulfillment feels like.
Right. We confuse being busy with being fulfilled.
Or having impressive stuff with having a meaningful life.
Oof. Yeah. And maybe the worst, mistaking other people thinking you have it great, their envy, for your own actual satisfaction.
Absolutely. The examples are everywhere. They're the narratives we looked at. The classic one, the lawyer who daydreams about teaching history.
Or the marketing exec who just wants to open a little toffee shop.
Totally. Or think about this, the person in the perfect relationship who feels utterly alone. We saw that come up again and again. And the entrepreneur who built this amazing company, but admitted, I lost myself completely in the process. They nailed someone else's game, maybe even better than anyone expected, but their own self just vanished.
And that loss of self, that's where it gets really, really interesting, I think. Because it's not just about external circumstances, right? The sources dig into who you become.
Precisely. That's the deeper cause. Constantly trying to squeeze yourself into a life that doesn't fit. It leads to what some psychologists call identity compression.
Shrinking.
Yeah, shrinking. Yeah. You start silencing the parts of you that don't fit the image. You start, performing your life instead of living it.
Like you're an actor in your own story.
Exactly. And this constant performance, this self-erasure, it breeds this thing, one study called success anxiety.
Success anxiety. Tell me more about that.
It's this constant background hum of fear. Fear that if you slow down, if you question things, if you admit something isn't working, the whole house of cards will just collapse.
So you just keep pushing, keep pretending.
With this almost frantic energy sometimes.
Yeah.
You have to keep proving it's all okay, mostly to yourself. It's utterly exhausting.
And the end result, described in so many of these stories, waking up. Successful, sure, but just drained. Accomplished, but anxious. Surrounded by, but feeling totally alone.
And the why is just heartbreaking, isn't it? Because the you who achieved all that stuff,
Yeah.
it wasn't the real you.
It was the approved version.
The version you thought you had to be to get love or respect or validation.
Yeah.
And then you realize, God, the people in my life, they don't even know me. How could they?
Because you haven't been showing up.
You've been too busy being who you should be. So relationships feel like performances. Achievements feel hollow. Your whole life can start to feel like this elaborate, empty stage play.
Yeah.
There was this quote from a CEO, incredibly successful woman, penthouse, the whole deal. And she just confessed, I don't even know what I like anymore. I've been pretending for so long. I've lost track of what's real. My entire identity is just what other people expect. It's the direct result of optimizing for the wrong, chasing the salary over satisfaction, status over actual fulfillment, what others think over your own inner peace. Yeah. You can win that game. Absolute, but lose yourself completely.
That sums it up powerfully. The tragedy isn't failure. The tragedy is succeeding at becoming someone you were never meant to be. But okay, here's where things start to, and where this deep dive really offers some, actual hope. That moment you start questioning it all, that feeling like maybe you're on the wrong track. Yeah. It's not a crisis. The sources are clear on this, especially from like existential psychology. That's an awakening.
Exactly. It's such a crucial reframe. Because most people, when that restlessness hits, their first thought is, what's wrong with me?
Right. I should just be grateful. I should push through.
Yeah, they're terrified of success feels empty. They think it makes them seem ungrateful or, weak. But what if, and this is the question the research posed, what if that feeling isn't a problem to fix? What if it's actually intelligence? What if it's your deeper self, your soul, whatever you want to call it, literally trying to sound an alarm, trying to save you from a life that deep down isn't right?
So the discomfort, it's not a flaw, it's data. Is that what you're saying?
That's the key insight. Absolutely. Discomfort is data. That nagging something's not right feeling. It's not noise to be ignored or medicated away.
It's information.
Vital information. It's your inner compass screaming, hey, you've wandered off the path. And the fix usually isn't some huge dramatic explosion where you burn everything down.
Though sometimes maybe.
Well, maybe sometimes. But often it's about getting really, really honest about what you actually want versus what you think.
That sounds simple, but wow, is it hard?
It's incredibly hard. Because we're trained, basically from birth, right, to trust everyone else's opinion about our lives. Parents, teachers, society, influencers, everyone except our own inner knowing.
We're taught there's a formula. Follow the steps, get the prize. But what if the prize isn't something you actually value? What if the whole blueprint is, kind of a prison?
That's the provocative question, isn't it? What if the path everyone else is on leads somewhere you don't want to go? What the interviews show, again and again with people who seem genuinely fulfilled, it's rarely the ones with the fanciest titles or biggest houses.
Who is it then?
It's the ones who figured out, maybe early, maybe late, that their opinion of their own life is the only one that truly matters. They stopped trying to impress. They just started living in alignment with who they are. And you could feel it on them. There's this lightness, this grounded.
Okay, so if my real life isn't hiding somewhere in the future, waiting for me to be ready.
It's right here, right now, in the choices you make today. That's what the sources kept emphasizing. The key, the absolute core of it, is learning to stop optimizing for other approval.
And start optimizing for your own sense of alignment.
Yeah, and that process, that reorientation, it means saying no sometimes. Saying no to things that look good but feel wrong deep down.
Even if it disappoints people.
Especially if it disappoints people who are invested in the old you. It means choosing alignment over achievement, at least for a while. And yeah, it can be scary because when you stop chasing the expected life, you're left with that big question. Okay, what do I actually want?
Which feels overwhelming, like you need some grand plan.
But usually the answer isn't that complicated. The research suggests your real life isn't found in some massive, dramatic overhaul. It's quieter, more subtle. It's found in the small daily choices, the ones that consistently honor who you actually are, not who you think you should.
Can you give some examples? Like, what does that look like day to day?
Sure. Looking at the pattern. It could be taking the job that pays a bit less but lights you up instead of draining you.
Oh, yeah.
Or maybe it is moving to that place that feels like home in your bones instead of staying in the city that just looks good on LinkedIn.
Having this tough conversations.
Exactly. Finally having the talks you've been avoiding. Or gently letting go of relationships that force you to pretend.
It could be about kids too, right? Admitting you don't want them or that you do regardless of expectations.
Absolutely. Or even acknowledging, hey, that degree I worked so hard for, that was fulfilling someone else's dream, not mine. These are real concrete shifts.
So it's not necessarily about like torching your current life. It's more about honest evaluation.
Honest, courageous evaluation. Yeah. Asking yourself, really ask, if my life stayed exactly like this for the next 20 years, would I be okay?
Ooh.
If the answer is no, even a quiet, then you have information, powerful information. So start small.
Oh.
What's just one thing you're doing mostly because you feel you should, not because you want to?
Like that committee I agreed to chair.
Could be. Or a weekly meetup that drains you. A friendship that feels totally one-sided, maybe even a hobby you secretly hate but keep up for appearances.
Okay, so identify one thing. Then what?
Try stopping, just for a bit, not forever, maybe just for a month. See what it feels like. Notice what space opens up. Do you actually miss the thing itself, or just the idea of it, or the approval you got from it?
I did that once with a networking group. Thought I'd miss the connections, but honestly, I just got my Tuesday evenings back. It was amazing.
See, it's a powerful experiment, a small act of reclaiming your time and energy.
Okay, but let's be real. When you start doing this, when you start saying no or changing direction, there's pushback. Right?
Oh, absolutely. The research on what they call social friction during identity shifts is really clear on this. People will resist.
Who resists?
Often the people who knew the old you, maybe people who benefited from you playing that role, or sometimes people who are just uncomfortable with change or threatened by your growth.
What does that resist?
They might tell you you're being selfish or irresponsible. They might remind you of all the good reasons you made the choices you're now questioning. They might try to guilt you.
Or that classic line, you've changed, like it's a bad thing.
Exactly. Like it's an accusation.
Yeah.
But here's the thing to hold on to. You're not changing to hurt them. You're not rejecting them.
You're changing because staying the same was hurting you. It was, like you said, killing your spirit.
Precisely. And the people who truly love you, they'll adjust. It might take time. They might be confused. But ultimately, they want your happiness more than your conformity. And those relationships built only on the old performance.
They might fall away.
And honestly, that's not loss. That's liberation.
That's the external resistance. What about the internal battle? Because that voice inside can be loud, too.
Oh, definitely. There's often a part of you that totally panics. That's the voice screaming, "In a mistake, go back. Play it safe. What will people think?"
The inner critic.
Yeah, or the protector part that's terrified of judgment, terrified of the unknown. It wants to keep you safe in the familiar cage, even if that cage is slowly suffocating you.
So what do you do with that voice? You can't just ignore it.
No, you acknowledge it. Feel the fear. You can even thank that part for trying to keep you safe. But you don't let it drive. You don't let it make the decision. Because the biggest risk, truly, isn't failing at your real life.
It's succeeding at the wrong one.
Exactly. Succeeding brilliantly at someone else's life. That's the real tragedy.
Okay, so you navigate the resistance, internal and external. And then what? What happens on the other side? Because it sounds hard.
It is hard, but the reward, they're profound. When you start making these shifts, even small ones, consistent, something amazing starts to happen. It's gradual, but undeniable.
Like what?
You stop feeling like you're dragging yourself through life. That heavy feeling in your chest when you wake up, it starts to lift. You stop needing constant distraction because being alone with your thoughts isn't scary anymore. It actually becomes pleasant.
You start feeling like yourself again.
Yes. Not the polished, performative version.
Yeah.
The real one. The one with quirky opinions and specific joys and maybe dreams that don't make sense to anyone else but feel absolutely true to you.
And relationships must change, too.
Dramatic. When you stop performing, you attract people who like the real you. The connections become deeper, more genuine. It acts like a filter. Really.
That makes...
And your work, whether it's a job or a passion project, starts to feel more meaningful because it's coming from you, not from a sense of obligation. Your energy comes back.
Yeah.
Because you're not spending it all fighting your own nature anymore.
We see this in those examples, right? The lawyer turned teacher.
Just lights up talking about our students. You see the joy. The marketing exec with the coffee shop moves differently, carries herself with a peace that wasn't there before.
The person who ended the perfect relationship
finds a love that actually nourishes them, not just looks good. The entrepreneur who simplified, remembers why they started, finds the joy again.
These aren't superheroes. They're just people who got honest and found the courage to pivot.
Exactly. And the people who truly matter, they don't disappear. Often they love you more because you're finally fully you.
Okay, so let's bring it back to the how. How do you actually do this? Start living this real life.
It really does seem to start with daily honest, like super simple but powerful. Every morning, maybe before the phone grabs you, just ask, what do I actually want today?
Not what should I want, not what's productive.
What would feel good? What would feel true? Maybe it is productivity, but maybe it's a slow morning. Maybe it's calling that one friend you genuinely connect with. Maybe it's spending an hour on that creative thing that doesn't pay bills yet.
Just tuning in for a second.
Yeah. And then start with small acts, tiny acts of authenticity throughout the day.
Like wearing the comfy sweater instead of the parablazer.
Totally. Or eating the thing you actually crave for lunch, not the sensible salad if you don't want it. Saying a polite no to that invitation that feels like a pure obligation.
And noticing how that feels.
Yes. Noticing the feeling in your body when you choose yourself, even in tiny ways. Does your energy shift? Does it feel lighter? It's like building a muscle.
Maybe keep a little log.
Great idea. The sources suggest journaling about these small experiments. What happened when I chose alignment over approval? What opened up? What faded away? Who showed up differently?
Because this isn't about being selfish, is it? It's about honesty.
It's fundamentally about honesty. And what all this research points to is that honesty with yourself first is the absolute bedrock of a life that actually feels worth living.
So let's wrap this up. For anyone listening right now, if you're feeling that whisper, that sense of wrong life,
listen, please listen.
Don't talk yourself out of it. Don't minimize it. Don't wait for permission from anyone else to want something different for yourself.
Your real life is calling right now. Not next year when things calm down. Not when the kids are older. Not when you get the promotion. Now. And honestly, the only thing standing between you and that life is the courage.
The courage to stop chasing what looks right.
And start choosing what feels true.
It's not about whether you deserve the life you want. You absolutely do. It's not about whether change is possible. It absolutely is. The real question is, how much longer are you going to
keep yourself?
Because the biggest risk isn't change. The biggest risk is looking back in 10, 20 years and realizing you successfully lived someone else's life while your own soul just faded.
You get this one life, this one chance.
What happens if you stop apologizing for who you are and just start being it? Start today. Start small. Start scared, but just start.
So maybe the question to leave you with is this. What's one thing, just one, that you're doing because you think you should, not because you want to? What's one conversation you've been putting off? One dream you've dismissed as silly or selfish?
Your real life is right there, waiting.
Waiting for you to choose it.
And when you do, everything changes. Seriously, not just for you, but for everyone who gets to see what happens when someone is brave enough.